So hello everybody, and how you all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well, and it is I, the realist philosopher. So what's up? What's happening? What's shaking? What's going on? Boy, oh boy, I felt a little better today. Yeah. Got some better food. Ate my first red meat, real red meat, in over 2 weeks. So yeah, feeling better, a little better. Got some more rest. Didn't exercise this morning. I'm going to lay off exercising until I feel more or less even keeled and normal. And then I'm going to get back into exercising, but at 1/3 what I was doing before. And every other day instead of 3 days on and then 1 day of rest. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, some of you who haven't followed me or watched my content in a while, excuse me, I recently went to the hospital, ended up in septic shock, then in a coma, then in the ICU, and then the rest of the time I'm in the hospital for like a month. I racked up, I just talked to the hospital today, whoever handles their billing. I've been haggling with them for weeks, so I got a almost $105,000 bill. I got a discount after haggling with them for a while. It was more. It was closer to like 150. Actually, these mofos were trying to charge me over 10 grand a day for the ICU stay. It's some crazy stuff, man. I don't want to get into the particulars. I could, I suppose. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. Maybe I'll go through like line by line everything they're trying to charge me for. They didn't even give me the total specifics, though, because there's some stays, ICU stay days that were much less, and then some were more. And I told her I want an itemized list. I want to know every aspirin, every whatever. Why is this day 85 and this day is 10,000? What's the differential? Well, I have to get back to you on that. You want an itemized list? Yeah! Yeah! Either I'm going to have to declare bankruptcy, which will destroy my life, and essentially make it extremely difficult for me to retire at 65, which ain't so far off, or I'll be paying on this until I die. Unless somebody out there who is really, really rich feels pity for me and donates the amount that I need to pay up my hospital bill, which is highly unlikely. So we'll see. Probably going to end up paying on it until I retire, and then I'll declare bankruptcy. I don't know. We'll see. But I had a long hospital stay, then a heart attack. I'm still recovering from the shock and the septic shock and the heart attack. So, there's a GoFundMe down in the description if you'd like to make a donation. I still can't work. I'm still in pretty bad shape here. I can sit and talk. That's about it. So you'd like to make a donation, you got a GoFundMe link. And there's also a Cash App if you have and are comfortable using Cash App. Good thing about Cash App, it's free to send and receive money. Anyhow, let me get into today's video subject. So as you all know, I'm a philosopher. What is a philosopher? I'm going to get into that in a separate video. In this video, I wanted to talk about my training as a philosopher. Now, a lot of people, they goes to the schools and they gets their training there in what they think is philosophy, but it's not actually. Philosophy is just pie-in-the-sky BS. Useless, meandering, that, a lot of gish-gallop nonsense, trying to, figure out the hows and the whys of, existence, delving deep into metaphysics, which I guess is a legitimate school of philosophy to explore, but mainly philosophy these days is just used to convey an ideological message, not teach philosophy. It's just a vehicle to deliver a narrative, an ideological point of view that is skews very far to the left. So what people learn in college now, even in high school with like your Philosophy 101, like you take your first philosophy class, as a junior or senior, you're not learning actual philosophy. You're not learning how to think. You're not learning the various schools and the different sets of the mind to view reality through each different school is, in my mind, a slightly different tool to view different aspects and to discover truths about different aspects of reality. But the main goal of philosophy is a tool of the mind to discover truth, but that's not. But what is it employed for? Well, that ability to find truth is then used to solve real world problems. Philosophy was never meant to be this pie in the sky pursuit that was limited to academics in higher institutions to just, explore these higher ideas. No, it was down and dirty in the trenches tool to solve real world problems in objective reality. That's it. It was never meant to be what it is. And so my training as a philosopher was very down and dirty real world. So those of you who follow me closely probably know that I grew up in a very abusive household. That would be putting it mildly. My father was something of, excuse me, I need my electrolytes. I'm on a carnivore diet, as you know, or you may not know, because I have an autoimmune disorder. And so if you're on a carnivore diet, the one thing that's lacking is electrolytes. So 2 or 3 times a day, I drink an electrolyte solution, salt water as well, because your sodium is going to be extremely low, and calcium and zinc, which are not in my electrolyte solution or my salt water, I get via a supplement I take once a day. It gives me all a growing boy needs. Anyway, for those of you who follow me, I grew up in a very abusive household. I learned very early on how the real world works, that life in general is going to be about suffering. And that's another video I just released. Check that out. And I'm going to go into more detail in another video about that. But my training as a philosopher began very early. It began very early. So my father was something of a drunk, I guess, in that he wasn't a hard liquor guy. I don't know how that makes you not a drunk. Instead, he liked his beer. He drank a lot. And later on, of course, when I hit 18, he had a short conversation with me and he tried to blame his abuse on the beer. Of course, the other, less savory essay kind of stuff, well, he didn't go into that. A big fat pedo fuck. But anyway, there was a lot of abuse. It was very bad. So I learned very early on how the world works, at least the bad side of it. But it didn't jade me. I didn't become very jaded and unable to see the positive and the good in life. It didn't turn me into an eternal pessimist. It didn't put me into a negative mindset. I saw it for what it was. My mindset was that this is training. All of this, it's training me. Now, what did it train me for? So, I don't know how many of you out there grew up in such a house, but if you did, you might understand that by and large, if you grow up in a household, the worse the abuse is, the better you're going to become at understanding, at reading, at dissecting others. Other people, other situations. You're going to get a very strong sense and feel for whatever environment you're in because you're trying to survive. Now, most kids growing up, they actually don't have to deal with abuse, especially with the helicopter parents they have today, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But most kids don't have to deal with suffering and hardship in their childhoods, so they don't get the kind of training required to understand how the world works, to be resilient, or to have these kind of abilities. I got training very early on. My father, he was a very sadistic guy. He would give you like choices for your punishment. Kind of like that Will Hunting movie. Never had a wrench though. It was always the belt. And he'd give you like options, right? Okay, you can spend a week in your room, or I beat the shit out of you. Here's your choice. He was a very manipulative guy. He enjoyed playing games. So he'd give you options as to whatever your punishment was. And of course, he would even gin up scenarios and create situations where you would have no choice but to do whatever it was that he would label as wrong or against the rules. He'd already established these rules, and then he would create a scenario where you had no choice but to break them, and then he would punish you for that, and then he would let you choose your punishment. He was an evil guy. Overall, a very evil freaking guy. Very sadistic. Enjoyed causing pain to other people. Not just physically, but verbally as well. He very much liked to play mind games with people. And so I got to deal with that from as early as I can remember until age 18, when it resulted in a fist fight. Well, I just had enough. Beat the crap out of him, and I was gone. Broke down the door to my room. We got into it, baby, and I just had enough, and bruised up his face real good, and he let himself go. Yeah. All that beer and, lack exercise and stuffing his face with all those carbs in conjunction with half a stick of butter every meal. Well, you're not going to be in the best of shape. So I learned how to read a room. I learned how to quickly interpret other people's intentions. I learned to read other people because I had to. If I couldn't read the other person's intentions, if I couldn't read their underlying intentions in their words, the subtext, what they were thinking, what they were feeling, what their actual real intentions were, what kind of person they were, what kind of state of mind they were in at the time, then I would be dead. If I had not learned how to manipulate certain situations and avoid certain landmines that had been predetermined and preset by my father, then I would have died. I wouldn't have survived into adulthood. The man was extremely, extremely violent. And if I didn't learn what buttons not to push, and then what buttons to push, and how to apply leverage in the right way, and how to navigate these situations, and read him, and in turn other people, as best I could, dead. Dude would have just, if I didn't learn how to read him, then he'd have killed me. It came very close a few times, and yeah, it was. So that was my training. And how did I translate that into philosophy? How did I take those early experiences, take lemons and make lemonade, take what was, in most people's eyes, a negative situation, and spin it to be an incredible strength that gave me the perceptual capabilities and the critical thinking skills to analyze any situation and figure out the truth, find the truth, and then use that truth I found in conjunction with logic and reason to solve real world problems. Well, it didn't really take much in the way of adaptation, because that's what I was doing all along anyway. I'm constantly being faced with new and very real problems on a daily basis in the environment I grew up in, only the stakes were much higher. They were life and death. You want to talk about the most intense training you can get? You think boot camp would be tough in terms of preparing you for war. Well, I was being trained, prepared to literally face life and death, real world, harshest reality scenarios on a near daily basis. And it was a daily basis, actually. I mean, there wasn't a week that went by that he didn't put his hands on me. But if I didn't figure out how to read the room, read the people, read the situation, and manipulate it in turn, find the solution to minimize the amount of damage that would be done to myself, then I'd be dead. So I just took those skills, tweaked them a bit. How do I apply them? And then I applied them. And that's it. So my training to become a philosopher began like literally as soon as I could talk and reason, 2, 3 years old. The abuse started early. The man was a monster. The man was a monster. And the only peace that we had in my childhood was when he was off in Vietnam, right? When I was a little older, you know. And he went off to Vietnam, and we had some peace. And then when he was on deployment for 6 months, but that was it. And we were just like this. That was like the best time. And unfortunately, he came back. He didn't get, offed. And the hard times continued. That was my training to be a philosopher. So, and this isn't always the case, by the way. Look at the saying, the new saying, all right, to the side of my video. That which does not kill you can make you stronger or weaker depending on your mindset. It's true. Some people are broken by these horrible experiences, and it doesn't make them stronger at all. There is no certainty in life, and there are no absolutes, except that there are no absolutes. So that which does not kill you makes you stronger. It's a lie. It's not true. Sometimes that which does not kill you makes you weaker. It depends on how you integrate it into your psyche and how you choose to employ it in your life. Literally the mindset that you have. It's all about choice. Am I going to choose, even if I don't realize I'm making that choice, to let this be something that holds me back and cripples me? Or am I going to choose to take these experiences, see them for the training that they were, and use them as a positive force in my life? It's all about choice. I chose to take these experiences for what they were, training, and spin them into an incredibly powerful tool. Such a powerful tool. It's now part of my psyche. It's part of who I am. And so it can be part of who you are as well. It's all about what you choose. So anyway, that's a little insight into myself and my training as a philosopher, where it came from, my early life experiences, and how I chose to let them be a force for good in my life and a powerful tool to solve real world problems, which is also what philosophy is supposed to be for, and not something that would cripple me and that I would choose to let be a negative, dragging me down force in my life. So let me know what you think of what I've had to say about my early training as a philosopher in the comments section. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. I also have a BitChute channel where I spent the vast majority of my online time. You'll find more than 1,700 pieces of content there. Some people have told me that not all those pieces of content work. If you go back to like the earliest, probably has something to do with BitChute really not being the most well-developed platform. They've just recently started allowing people to live stream, and they've just recently added in ad revenue and ads on their videos. So yeah, some of the earlier content might not be viewable. Let me know. And also, if you find my content interesting, if you find it informative, if you'd like to watch more, please consider making a donation to my GoFundMe. My health is not very good right now. I don't know where I'm going to be in the next few months. So I really need the support of my followers. So if you could make a GoFundMe donation, I'd greatly appreciate it. The link is below in the description. You could also use my Cash App. And I'm also going to throw in my email if you got any questions or comments, those who donate. I don't want to set a number, like maybe like more than $50. I'll take video requests. Maybe that's a good number, I guess. I think that is. So you got a video request you'd like me to make. If you donate 50 or more bucks, I'll make a video and If that sounds high, well, any subject that you ask me to make a video on, I'm going to do research and then I'm going to type up a script. It could take as much as 8 hours, so no, it's a deal. People who purchase videos from me, they get the utmost amount of work and the highest level of quality, and I put a lot into it, so no, it's a bargain. Anyway, on that note, I'm out of here. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.